The silent plea. The signal arrived during the midnight shift at Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station. Commander Elena Reyes was reviewing routine reports when Lieutenant Zheng's voice cracked through the quiet hum of the command center. "Commander, we're receiving something unusual on the emergency frequencies. It's not one of ours." Elena moved to Zheng's station, her practiced calm masking the surge of adrenaline. Humanity had made contact with several alien civilizations over the past 30 years, but all communications followed established protocols. Emergency channels remained silent except during drills. "Let me hear it," she ordered. The message played through the speakers, a haunting series of harmonics that the translation matrix struggled to process. After several moments, broken phrases emerged. "Please help. They come from the void. Our worlds burn. We have nowhere. Council abandoned us. Earth is our last hope." The transmission included coordinates for a system at the edge of explored space, followed by a data packet containing technical specifications that matched no known species. "Authenticate and verify," Elena commanded, "and get the Joint Chiefs on the line." Within hours, Elena stood before the United Earth Defense Council in Geneva. The room's occupants, military leaders, scientists, and politicians, listened as she played the message. "The signal originated from the Epsilon Eridani sector," she explained. "Our analysis indicates it came from a previously unknown species. They're under attack by something they call the Voidborn. Their message suggests the Galactic Council has refused to intervene." Admiral Hassan, gray-haired and stern-faced, leaned forward. "The Council doesn't appreciate our unpredictability. They've denied our requests for full membership 3 times. Why should we rush to help when they've kept us at arm's length?" "Because it's the right thing to do," Elena replied simply. "These beings are desperate enough to contact Earth directly, bypassing Council protocols. That suggests they're truly out of options." Dr. Kapoor, Earth's leading xenobiologist, adjusted her glasses. "Commander Reyes is correct. If these aliens sought us specifically, they must know about our biological advantages. Humans evolved on a high-gravity, radiation-bathed death world with extreme climate variations. What might kill other species merely inconveniences us." The debate lasted hours. Eventually, Council President Alvarez called for a vote. The result was narrow but clear. Earth would respond. 2 days later, Elena stood on the bridge of the UES Intrepid, Earth's newest battleship. Through the viewport, she watched as the response fleet assembled. 3 battleships, 7 cruisers, and their support vessels. The most powerful human combat force ever deployed to aid another species. "Final clearance received," reported her executive officer, Commander Marcus Jackson. "All ships report ready for jump." Elena nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. "Send a message to all captains. We are not going to show the galaxy our strength through conquest. We go to defend those who cannot defend themselves. We go because we answered a call no one else would. That is humanity's true power." The fleet vanished into jump space, leaving Earth behind and heading toward their first interstellar rescue mission. 3 weeks later, they arrived at the coordinates. The scene that greeted them was grim. An orbital station reduced to twisted, smoking metal. Scans revealed faint life signs planet-side, clustered in subterranean shelters. "Radiation levels?" Elena asked. "High enough to kill most known species," Jackson replied. "Within human tolerance, though." "Prepare landing parties with full hazard gear," Elena ordered. "I'll lead the first team down." 6 shuttles descended to the surface, escorted by fighter craft scanning for threats. They touched down near the largest concentration of survivors, in what had once been a research facility, now a smoldering crater. Elena led the way, the first human to set foot on this world. The air was breathable but filled with dust and the acrid smell of destruction. From the rubble emerged slender, silver-skinned figures with large, luminous eyes. They moved cautiously, their expressions a mixture of fear and disbelief. One stepped forward, adorned with intricate markings that suggested leadership. "I am Elorith, elder of the Araxian Collective." The translator converted the musical language. "You are humans." "Yes," Elena confirmed. "I am Commander Elena Reyes of Earth. We received your distress call." Elorith's large eyes widened. "You came." "The council said no one would come." More Araxians emerged from hiding. Several were injured, their silver skin marred with burns and lacerations. One approached Elena hesitantly, studying her with wonder. "How can you stand here?" the Araxian asked. "The Voidborn weapons leave radiation that kills our kind within minutes." Elena smiled slightly. "Humans evolved on a world with natural radiation. We can tolerate levels that harm other species." Dr. Ishida, the mission's chief medical officer, moved toward an injured Araxian child. The child's guardian pulled back in fear. "It's okay," Elena assured them. "Our doctors can help." Slowly, trust began to build. In the main shelter, Elorith showed them recordings of the attack. Massive crystalline vessels had appeared without warning, decimating Araxian defenses within minutes. "The Voidborn struck 15 of our worlds simultaneously," Elorith explained. "They consume resources and leave radiation in their wake. The Council deemed intervention too risky, given the Voidborn's power." "How many survivors?" Elena asked. "Perhaps 40% of our population," Elorith replied. "The Voidborn didn't expect anyone to survive their radiation bombing." Later, as human medics treated injured Araxians, Elena noticed Dr. Ishida examining a vial of glowing blue liquid. "Their medical technology is remarkable," Ishida said. "This regenerative compound could revolutionize human medicine. And your bodies are extraordinary," Elorith added. "What the Voidborn used to kill, you endure with minimal discomfort. They have never faced a species like yours." A sudden alert chimed from Elena's communication device. "Commander," came Jackson's urgent voice, "3 unidentified vessels just appeared at the system's edge. They match nothing in our database, but their crystalline structure resembles the ships in the Araxian recordings." Elena watched the tactical display as the alien vessels held position briefly, then suddenly jumped away. "They've seen us," she said quietly. "Now they'll report back what they found." Elorith's translator couldn't capture the emotion in Elena's voice, but the meaning was clear. "What happens now?" the Araxian elder asked. Elena looked at the devastation around them, then at the injured Araxians being treated by her teams. Her expression hardened with resolve. "Now," she replied, "the Voidborn learn what happens when you attack those under human protection." Part 2. Deathworlders Unleashed. The great chamber of the Galactic Council fell silent as Ambassador Sophia Chen of Earth approached the speaking platform. Representatives from hundreds of worlds watched with mixed emotions: curiosity, concern, and in some cases, thinly veiled fear. "Honored representatives," Chen began, her voice echoing through the vast hall. 3 days ago, the United Earth Defense Force responded to a distress call from the Araxian Collective. What we found was attempted genocide. She activated the holographic display. Images of destroyed Araxian cities and injured survivors filled the air. Several delegates turned away, unable to watch. "The Voidborn attacked without warning or provocation," Chen continued. "They used radiation weapons specifically designed to cause suffering before death. This is not war. This is extermination." From the upper tier, a tall, mantis-like being rose. "Representative Zrax of the Mantodian Collective," announced the translator. The insectoid being clicked its mandibles in agitation. "While regrettable, this conflict does not concern Earth," Zrax stated. "Humans were invited to join this council as observers, not as galactic police. Your warships violate 3 treaties by entering Araxian space." Murmurs of agreement spread through the chamber. Chen waited for quiet. "When we joined this community of worlds," she said calmly, "we were told the council stood for peace and protection of all sentient life. Yet when the Araxians begged for help, this council did nothing." The council leader, an ancient being named Vesh, whose species had been among the first to travel the stars, leaned forward. "Human, you do not understand. The Voidborn are powerful. Intervention could spark a war that would engulf dozens of systems, and allowing them to destroy peaceful worlds one by one is better." Chen asked. The Araxians had no weapons. They were researchers, artists, healers. Now merely half their population is dead. A small purple-skinned delegate stood. "We fear what comes next. Humans evolved on a death world. Your biology is designed for violence in ways ours are not. If we authorize human military action, what happens when the fighting ends? Will you leave or stay as conquerors?" Chen looked around the chamber, understanding their fear. "You fear us because we are different," she acknowledged. "Because we can survive conditions that would kill most of you. But strength can protect as well as harm." She displayed new images: human medics treating Araxian children, engineers rebuilding shelters, ships distributing supplies. "Commander Reyes has ordered our fleet to defend remaining Araxian worlds until this council acts. We do not seek permission to fight. We seek your support for those who cannot fight for themselves." The chamber erupted in debate. For hours, species argued while Chen waited patiently. Finally, the council leader called for silence. "We have received disturbing reports," Vesh announced. "Voidborn forces are moving toward the main Araxian homeworld. Their fleet size suggests they intend complete annihilation." The ancient being paused, studying Chen. "This council hereby grants limited authorization for human defensive operations to protect Araxian civilians. No offensive actions against Voidborn territories are permitted." It wasn't everything Chen had asked for, but it was enough. Meanwhile, aboard the Intrepid, Commander Reyes stood on the bridge as the tactical display showed 5 crystalline Voidborn warships approaching the Araxian colony of Nerida. Their weapons were already powering up for bombardment. "Status of Nerida's defenses?" Elena asked. "Minimal," Jackson replied. "One orbital platform with light weapons. Ground shields at 20% capacity. Population approximately 12,000 Araxians." Elena straightened her uniform. "Inform Major West to prepare ground forces. The Voidborn will land troops once their initial bombardment weakens the shields." On the lower deck, Major Sarah West briefed her Marines. A veteran of Earth's conflicts, West had fought in the Amazon resource wars and the Arctic territorial dispute. At 38, she had seen more combat than most alien military leaders in their entire careers. "Voidborn forces have never fought humans," she told her troops. "They expect their enemies to die easily from radiation and toxins. They're wrong." Sergeant David Ramirez checked his gear. His squad would be among the first to land. "Rules of engagement, Major. Protect the civilians at all costs," West replied. "And make damn sure the Voidborn learn what happens when you pick a fight with Deathworlders." Above Nerida, the human fleet engaged. The Intrepid and 2 cruisers moved to intercept the Voidborn ships, weapons blazing. The Voidborn responded with confidence, clearly expecting an easy victory like they had experienced against other species. Their confidence quickly turned to confusion as human ships took damage but kept fighting. Where Araxian vessels would have fallen, human shields, designed to withstand the harsh conditions of space near Earth, held. On the surface, the first Voidborn landing parties broke through the weakened shields. Tall, crystalline beings in heavy armor moved through the streets, using weapons that spread toxic gas. They entered buildings expecting to find only dead Araxians. Instead, they found Sergeant Ramirez and his Marines. Weapons-free, Ramirez ordered as the first Voidborn soldiers rounded the corner. Human weapons fired, the sound echoing through the colony streets. The Voidborn troops faltered, surprised by the resistance. Their intelligence had said the planet was defended only by Araxians, a species that should already be dying from the toxins released. "They're retreating to that structure," Private Torres called out, pointing to a large building. "That's a learning center," their Araxian guide said. "There are children sheltering in the lower levels." Ramirez didn't hesitate. "First and second squads with me. Torres, cover the back exit. They moved through the toxic haze, their filters handling what would be lethal to most species. The Voidborn had cornered several Araxian teachers and a group of children in the center's basement. The firefight was brief but intense. When it ended, Ramirez knelt beside a young Araxian child trembling in fear. "It's okay," he said gently. "We're here to help." Above the planet, the space battle reached its conclusion. 2 Voidborn ships had been destroyed, 1 crippled. The remaining 2 retreated, but not before launching pods toward the surface. "They're taking prisoners," Lieutenant Park reported, as the pods lifted off with captured humans. 2 Marines and a technician. Elena's face hardened. "Track those pods. I want to know where they're taking our people." By nightfall, the colony was secure. Elena walked through the medical center where human doctors worked alongside Araxian healers. The humans had suffered wounds that would have killed most species, yet they were already planning to return to duty. "First combat between humans and the Voidborn," Jackson said as he joined her. "What do you think they learned today?" Elena watched as news of the human victory spread across Araxian communication channels, bringing hope to a species that had known only defeat. "They learned that they've been hunting prey animals," she replied quietly. "Now they've met the predator." In the sterile laboratory of the Voidborn research vessel Dominance, Chief Scientist Vexthar stared at the captured humans in horror. 2 Marines and a technician lay strapped to examination tables, sedated but alive. Vexthar's assistants moved around them, taking samples and readings. "Impossible," the scientist muttered, reviewing the data. "These creatures survive toxin levels that would kill any species we've encountered. Their cellular structure repairs itself at remarkable speeds." An assistant approached with a tissue sample. "The radiation damage that would destroy Araxian DNA merely triggers repair mechanisms in human cells. They evolved on a world that should be uninhabitable by intelligent life." Vexthar studied the unconscious Marine closest to him. "Update High Command immediately. This changes our strategy." Word spread quickly through galactic communication networks. Humans, the feared Deathworlders, had successfully defended Araxian colonies and demonstrated resilience against Voidborn weapons. Species that had been watching in fearful silence began to hope. The first message came from the Trashans, an amphibious species whose outer colonies had already fallen to Voidborn attacks. Their ambassador arrived on the Intrepid with urgency. "We have advanced shield technology," the Trashan explained to Elena. "What we lack are soldiers who can survive Voidborn toxins and radiation. We offer an alliance." More followed. The Morrigan Collective, the Pax Federation, the Quantum Harmony, all species who had suffered Voidborn aggression or lived in fear of it. Within 2 weeks, Elena found herself at the center of a growing coalition. "We never planned to lead a multi-species war effort," she confided to Jackson. "Earth Command is sending 3 more battle groups, but it won't be enough to cover all these systems." "Then we adapt," Jackson replied. "We use human soldiers as the primary combat units with alien support and technology. The Trashans have excellent shielding, but can't survive boarding actions. The Pax have advanced weapons, but die in Voidborn atmospheric attacks." On the newly established base on the Araxian homeworld, Sergeant Ramirez trained the first mixed-species combat team. Araxian medics, Trashan engineers, and human Marines work to understand each other's capabilities and limitations. "The Voidborn expects us to fight like them," Ramirez explained to his unusual squad. "But we have something they don't: diversity of thought and biology." A Trashan cadet raised a webbed hand. "But humans are doing all the dangerous work. Is this fair?" Ramirez smiled. "Fair? No. Effective? Yes. My species evolved on a world that tried to kill us every day. Now we use that strength to protect yours. That's the point of an alliance." Aboard the Voidborn command ship Inevitable Consumption, High Commander 6 faced a crisis. Reports from a dozen fronts showed losses where there should have been easy conquests. "How can this be happening?" Six demanded of his war council, "We've subjugated 15 species in the last cycle. Now we lose ships and troops daily." "It's the humans," his intelligence officer replied. "Their presence has changed everything. Species that once surrendered now fight desperately, knowing human reinforcements might arrive." Six studied the battle reports with growing concern. "Even worse, our own forces lose confidence. 3 garrison commanders have retreated without orders rather than face human troops." The final confrontation came at the Araxian homeworld. The largest Voidborn fleet ever assembled emerged from jump space, intent on destroying the heart of the alliance that threatened their expansion. They found the combined fleet of Earth and its new allies waiting. The battle raged for 3 days. Human ships took the brunt of Voidborn assaults, their crews enduring radiation and toxins that would have killed their allies instantly. In the end, it was Commander Elena Reyes who led the decisive strike. With her ship heavily damaged, she ordered a precision jump directly into the heart of the Voidborn formation, targeting their command vessel. The maneuver, considered suicidal by Council tactical standards, caught the Voidborn completely unprepared. When the Intrepid's weapons struck the inevitable consumption, the Voidborn fleet fell into disarray. Without central command, their coordinated attack collapsed into individual ships fighting for survival. The Alliance forces pressed their advantage, and by the 3rd day, the Voidborn retreated in defeat. 1 month later, Elena stood once again before the Galactic Council, this time not as a supplicant, but as the representative of the newly formed Defense Alliance. "The Voidborn threat has been contained," she reported. "Their expansion has been halted, and the Alliance now patrols the borders of their territory." Vesh, the ancient council leader, studied her with new respect. "What you have achieved was thought impossible. Perhaps we have misjudged humans. You feared our strength," Elena acknowledged. "But strength without compassion is merely brutality. Humanity didn't fight to conquer. We fought to protect." As she left the chamber, Elena received a message from Earth. The Defense Council had authorized the construction of 20 new ships, specifically designed to work with alien crews and technology. They would form the core of a permanent Alliance fleet. The message ended with a personal note from Admiral Hassan. "You've changed the galaxy's perception of humanity, Commander. The Deathworlders they once feared are now the guardians they trust. Well done." Elena smiled as she looked out at the stars. Humanity had found its place in the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as protectors. The strength that had once made others fear them now gave hope to those who could not defend themselves. And in the end, that made all the difference.